Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to dive deep into what it really takes to pass one of the toughest exams in programming, the Oracle Certified Professional Java 21 exam. If you're looking to really prove you've mastered Java, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's just jump right in, because we need to set the stage here. This is not just another certification. As one developer, Earl Savadera, put it right after he passed, this is indeed the hardest among all Java exams I take. Now that's coming from someone fresh out of the trenches, and it perfectly frames the kind of mountain we're about to climb together.
So how do you even begin to tackle a challenge this big? Well, we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll size up the exam itself, what I'm calling the Java 21 Gauntlet. Then we'll get into why it's so tough, using real stories from people who've been there. After that, we'll zero in on those make or break concepts you absolutely have to know. And finally, I'm going to give you the exact study blueprint that's been proven to work.
All right, first up, the Java 21 Gauntlet. Let's really get a handle on what this exam, the 100830, actually means for a developer in today's world. So the most important thing you got to get is that this isn't just some minor update. Java 21 is the new long-term support release, the LTS. That means it's the version companies are going to be building on for years to come. Passing this exam doesn't just show you know Java, it shows you know the version that actually matters for the future of the entire industry. We know it's the new standard, but what is it that makes it so notoriously difficult? Well, let's hear it directly from the people who've actually stared it down.
You know, the first thing you hear over and over again from people is the clock. It's brutal. It's not just about what you know, it's about how fast you can access that knowledge under pressure. This exam is not a leisurely stroll through Java. It is an absolute sprint against time.
And what is it that chews up all that precious time? This, right here. The exam just relentlessly throws these questions at you where you have to mentally compile and debug these long, really tricky code snippets. You're not just remembering facts, you're tracing complex logic, you're hunting for tiny, subtle bugs, and then you have to pick the one right answer from a list of almost identical code blocks. It's a test of mental endurance just as much as it's a test of your Java knowledge. And get this. This right here is the real passing score from one of the authors who literally wrote the study guide for the exam, Jean Boyarsky. She passed with a 74%. This just goes to show you that the margin for error is razor thin. I mean, even the experts who write the books on this stuff are just barely getting over the finish line. Okay, so the challenge is clear. Let's pivot from the why it's so hard to the how you're going to win. This next section is all about those key concepts that are going to make or break your exam score. First off, just take a look at the sheer scope of what you're up against. The syllabus covers everything from the absolute fundamentals all the way up to the very latest in modern Java, like virtual threads and the module system. It is a massive range, which is exactly why you can't just study everything equally. You have to be strategic. You have to focus on the newest and the trickiest areas, which is exactly what we're about to do. Okay, one of the biggest new features you absolutely have to know inside and out is record patterns. Honestly, think of this as a new superpower for your if statements. It lets you instantly pull apart or deconstruct a record, making your code for handling data incredibly clean and way more powerful. And wow, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. Check the type, cast it, then call a bunch of methods to get the data out. But look at the right. With Java 21's record patterns, you do all of that in one single elegant line. You check the type and deconstruct it into local variables x and y at the exact same time. The exam will 100% test your understanding of this modern syntax. And this idea doesn't just stop there. It carries right over to switch statements. The old way was this clunky chain of if-else-if blocks just to handle different types. Now, you can use a switch expression that matches on the type directly. And what's even cooler is you can add these guarded patterns with a when clause to add extra conditions, like checking if a term account is expired. It's powerful, it's concise, and is a huge focus of the exam. All right, let's talk about a classic trip-up topic, generics. To survive the really tricky questions on bounded wildcards, you just need to burn one simple rule into your brain. Read extends, write super.
If you see question extends T, just think read only. You can get stuff out, but you can't put anything new in. If you see question super T, think write only. You can add items to it, but you can only read them out as a generic object. I promise you, internalizing this rule will save you on so many tough questions.
Another absolute game changer in Java 21 is virtual threads. For years, every Java thread was tied one-to-one with the heavy operating system thread. Virtual threads completely break that link. They're managed by the Java virtual machine itself, which makes them incredibly lightweight. This lets you create literally millions of concurrent tasks, and it's revolutionizing how we write scalable applications. You can bet you'll see questions on how they work and how to use them.
Okay, we've hit the critical concepts. Now, let's pull it all together into a concrete plan of attack. This is your study blueprint, a proven path to success based on the collected wisdom of developers who've already conquered this thing. The strategy that works really boils down to 4 key stages. First, you get a great study guide to build your foundation. Then, you immediately put that knowledge to the test with high-quality mock exams. That's going to show you exactly where your weak spots are, which you'll then focus on mastering. And finally, it's just all about repetition. Practice, 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 until solving these complex problems feels like second nature.
Now, when it comes to that first step, getting a study guide, the developer community pretty much speaks with one voice. The guide by Gene Boyarsky and Scott Selikoff is considered the absolute gold standard. It's incredibly comprehensive, and it's written by people who are deeply connected to the certification process itself. So let's get your toolkit ready. Think of the Boyarsky and Selikoff guide as your textbook. For mock exams, the one name you'll hear constantly is Enthaware. Seriously, candidates swear its difficulty and style are the closest you can possibly get to the real deal. And when you need even more practice, platforms like MyExamCloud have a deep well of questions to keep you sharp.
So, there you have it. We've unpacked the challenge, we've decoded the key topics, and we've laid out the blueprint for success. The only question left is the one for you. Are you ready to take on this challenge and prove your expertise as an Oracle certified professional for Java 21?